Fight the planet!
Bullshit, I can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair.
Alright, everyone, give me 1 second. I need to go grab my Jocko drink. I realized I left it in the refrigerator. Be right back, then we're gonna get started. Alright, I'm back. Finally. Dudes. Long days, long nights. How's everybody going? Make sure it's still working. Hey, there we go. Cool. Man. Ugh. So I'm dealing with this network at work that is... trying to think. It's probably 20 times the size that we thought it was. And so I'm just clawing through it, just trying to hit everything I can. And it's really weird. And there's some kind of filtering going on. It's just a hot mess. So I'm just trying to be as efficient as I can with my time. But damn. I was so excited to be doing an internal penetration test because I hadn't got to do one in a while. And then I got handed this network that's like, what even is this thing? Oh goodness. All right. I think what we're gonna do tonight. I'm gonna run through. We're gonna see if we're gonna do any more automating of fun things over on our attack box. So we're gonna wait for the. I forgot to start the lab, so wait for the lab to start up here. So let's see if it'll connect. Once the lab comes up, we'll double check. I think I left a note on where we had left off on the aggressor script. Of course, I didn't think it was going to be up yet. But these aggressor scripts are actually going to be pretty cool. And I think what we're going to do then is we're going to go update the range. In fact, it's kind of a dangerous button. I kind of want to click it right now. I'm trying to remember where, but there is a list of like changes for the range. I think it's in the documentation for the community site. So, which I always forget is actually a thing. Let's see. Let me go look something real quick. So what's today? Today's the 29th of May. Oh, okay, so there was an update on the 13th of May. That's what this was. And it was an update to Arsenal Kit. Okay, cool. So we got to update the Arsenal Kit and also the fixing the Cobalt Strike license. So actually, we are going to have to just do the upgrade here. Oh god, I wouldn't want to do that during the lab. Genesis, what is up, my brother? Dude, I had a pretty good day today, actually. So got to go spend about an hour tearing into my son's new four-wheeler. And like I said, by new, his current four-wheeler is a 50cc four-stroke. And it's like 20 years old. He's about to, and it's been used, abused, and loved by like 3 families before we got it. Hey, what we're going to be doing today is, depending on how the lab actually looks when we've started up, is going over some aggressor script stuff. I think we were in the middle of something from last night. Honestly, I've been light on sleep. I've been trying to catch up. That's why the stream started a little bit early, as I actually was taking a nap. So we're going to hit it here in just a second, once the lab actually loads up. So aggressor scripts allow us to do automated tasks inside Cobalt Strike. It's really great. Just finished doing Hack the Box Academy, enumerating DNS. Very nice. DNS is totes important. There's a really cool tool, actually. Speaking of enumeration, it doesn't really get a lot of... See if this is the right tool. This is not it. Hang on. Bbot. Yeah. There you go. From Black Lantern Security. Bbot is kind of a neat little tool here. I'll drop this one over in chat. I really like using this. It takes a bit of setup because it's a bit like AMAS where you have to go set up all your API keys and stuff. But it actually does a really great job of fighting stuff. And it will find things like doing, DNS domain, brute forcing, all that sort of jazz. Ooh, when did they add that? I didn't know they had Neo4j integration. All right, I gotta go check that out. But like, here's the little video sample of what it does. So testing Tesla.com. Check that out. So there's all the various nodes that it's finding as it's enumerating the footprint. So it's going to be looking at things. That would also look at what are called like first and second degree relationships. What's like really directly involved in the target versus what's going on like maybe in the second degree. So our 0 degree. So 0 degree would be like, hey, this is stuff that's on your target. Like it's in the domain. First degree or 1 degree off would be like, oh, this is stuff that's in another domain the same company kind of owns, or it's related, like it's a SaaS service, something like that. TCM Security teaches Neo4j? Do they? TCM Neo4j. Because actually I had an idea or something I wanted to build. And I actually have messed with Neo4j. I've used it. I've used a decent amount, but particularly when it comes to like using Bloodhound. So I wanted to see. Do they teach it in as part of the course? So the idea was actually to make an overlay to Bloodhound, and I don't want to spoil it too much yet, because I'm still thinking about it, and eventually I'm going to have to just stop thinking about it and start putting code down. I don't know if it's something I'll do on stream, at least in the beginning. And the reason for that is because I understand, especially I've noticed with the aggressor scripting, even though it's important, that is a bit of a dry subject. You got to have, it's a bit hard to like have interactions whenever you're doing coding like that. So, oh, it's part of the course? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, Neo4j is actually pretty cool. I haven't looked at the TCM stuff. Maybe I'll see if I can talk to them about maybe going over some of their material in here. I think if I go over anything on the stream, it's going to be probably from that's not part of like the Red Team Ops. It's going to be from probably from Try Hack Me and Hack the Box. probably more Hack the Box. Because we're doing Try Hack Me with Salty, so we can do Hack the Box whenever it's just me, I think, probably. So, but yeah, Neo4j is a hella cool language. If you're not familiar with it, but yeah, so that's why I've been messing with it, because I wanted to do an overlay onto Bloodhound. Ooh, what is VivaGraph.js? Actually, I've been trying to think of how I wanted to do the front end. I actually have a lot of the back end architecture kind of mapped out in my head, but I haven't seen this VivaGraph.js. Let me see. Oh, they used the Bbot demo. Okay. Look at that. Look at all the nodes just. I like the little springy physics too. Oh wait, that's because that was a very specific implementation of it. Here we go. This is the actual one I was looking for. Because one of the things that I kind of think that is annoying, believe it or not, with penetration testing, is a lot of the tools are still just, green text on a black screen or white text on a black screen. That's really a lot of the stuff that you're doing. And so many people are strong visual processors. I wanted to make something that was going to help with the visual processing. So I'm very interested in this now. I really want to try this. I want to go see what they're... Okay. Thank you for actually reminding me about this, Genesis. They teach Bloodhound and Neo4j in conjunction. Well, that makes sense. Hang on, I need to move this fan because I put it here yesterday when it was burning up in my office, and now it's cold and my feet are freezing. Hang on one sec. So a little bit off topic. What do you think about bug hunting for big companies? Do you ever do it? I don't do it, and the reason is because I do it professionally. So I've been, and that might sound kind of weird, but one of my guys on my team does do that. But I'm a professional penetration tester. I've been doing that for 6 years. And so when bug bounties came out, they sounded really cool and kind of fun. I was like, yeah, let's go do this. And what I quickly found was two things. One, getting the big sexy payouts is fairly few and far between. There's guys that are doing this, and what they've done is they've heavily automated a lot of stuff. I didn't really feel like doing a lot of just automated scanning. I mean, it's given I didn't want to just have that crap running, 24/7 looking for things. And third, it started to feel like I was just working more, but for an uncertain salary. So, hey GoPro, yeah, it is kind of free labor. Hold on, I gotta find something real fast. You just reminded me of something, GoPro. Bug bounty versus test. Hold on, let me see if I can find this real quick. I can't find it, but it was a video, and it was like a 3-man adult soccer team against an entire team of younger kids. And of course, they're just walking all over the field, bypassing them all and just dunking on them. And someone has just captioned it. It was penetration testers versus bug bounty, or red teamers versus bug bounty, or something like that. Yeah, exactly. Now, if you really want to go get after it, now another reason I don't particularly care for bug bounties is because you're doing most of that stuff closed source. There are private bounties that you can go and hit those up, where they will invite you and they might actually give you source code. I've never done those. One good thing about doing bug bounties, though, is if you're just trying to get into security and you want a legal place to go test out some stuff that's not a denial of service, because that's always out of scope, understandable. But that's a good place to actually go and okay, hey, well, how does this actually look if I go run it against a live system that I didn't set up or wasn't part of a lab environment? That's a great way to do some of those bug bounties like that. They're also really good if you really like taking the approach of doing black box testing, because that's pretty much what 99% of those are going to be. They're going to be black box. You're not going to know hardly anything except for domains. And while I don't necessarily don't hate black box, but black box with no source code on most web facing things, that's a bit of a pain. That not only that, but it's black box and you don't have any authentication either. So it's a bit of a beatdown. So it's funny, actually, I was joking with one of my coworkers, because we have been doing a long string of web apps, and it was just not very interesting. And there was a lot of black box web apps, so you're finding stuff, but not like the juicy remote code execution. So I told him, it's like, I'm gonna go freaking log into Hack the Box just so I can get some shells and get my fix. I need some shells, man. I really do like the job. I mean, it is a job though, just like any other thing. So one of the things I really like about doing the live stream here is getting to talk to folks, see like where they're coming from, answering questions, and then also we're doing stuff. And believe it or not, I guess it's been like 3 months now, getting on to 4 months that I've been doing the live stream. I actually kind of just have been reignited my love of tinkering in the lab. So I used to just not do this, and a lot of times I would actually be really self-defeating, and I was like, hey, I've got a free hour, let me go do this. And then this, not even a little voice, this big voice in the back of my head say, that's a waste of time. You're going to work on this for an hour and you're not going to get to touch it again for 3 weeks, and then you're going to forget everything you did. You're going to do the exact same hours worth of stuff over again to get back to zero. And so the live stream has actually carved out 3 hours a day to like sit down and hack on stuff. So it's been really great in that respect, because I'll be frank with you, there's always something else to do, right? So I try to help my wife out as much as I can, like around the house. Tonight I made dinner. She was working real late. There's all sorts of reasons to it. But by doing this, I have carved out and hard set the time to sit here and do this. How often do you come across the DNS zone transfer attack vector? Not super frequently, but when you come across it, dude, it's like a gold mine. It's just like prospecting, right? You're just tick, tick, tick. Oh, look, a giant diamond. It can be super helpful. Actually, I had a really weird one time, and I wish I had thought more about it, but we had found out that there was a way for us to set DNS entries anonymously. I'm trying to remember. It was like a Windows domain controller, and it had DNS, and it had that set up. And damn, now that I think about it, I was afraid of breaking the network because DNS can totally knock stuff over. Hey, Marky, what's up, brother? But yeah, it was really weird. It was like the ability to anonymously set host names, like host records in Active Directory. It's kind of wild. Let's see. Let me open up VS Code. Let's see what we're doing here. If we are done, or at least at a decent stopping spot for the aggressor scripts, I'll probably just go ahead and blow away the lab and restart it, because I think tomorrow's the day the license expires and we'll will have to do the lab upgrade. So yeah, it expires in 1 day, it says. And that's true, GoPro. Yeah, it's not an attack vector. It is still a finding though. So there's a difference between a finding and an attack vector, right? Attack vector allows you to actually maybe get a shell or compromise a system in some way. But findings are something totally different. So that would be a fairly good finding, because it's something that's very easy to remediate, and it does provide the attacker a lot of information. Because imagine this, what if an attacker gets into your network, and rather than having to go through and scan your entire network, they could just say, oh yeah, give me a DNS zone transfer. And boom, they've got everything. At least they know everything that's being talked about by hostname, which could be really big too, because you can make a lot of inferences from that. If you had a zone transfer and you dump sites and services from Active Directory, you'd have pretty much a comprehensive map of the network. Let's remove all these old shells here. And I'll tell you, actually, before I get digging into it, let's go set up a beacon on workstation 2 again real fast. So back to what I was saying earlier about the ATVs. I've gotten to work on my son's new ATV. And like I said, his current one is 20 years old. We're the third family to have owned it, and it has been used and abused many times over. So it still actually runs really well, but it's definitely showing its age. I need to go do like a full teardown on it and refresh it. During his last race, poor kid, he did the practice, and actually I thought he was doing okay in the practice. I checked his GoPro video, and he's having so much trouble climbing hills he shouldn't have trouble climbing. So then it wouldn't even start for the race. So like, okay, we got to go get his new bike set up. I found this guy that was selling his son's old four-wheeler, and it is just a gem. The dude sold it to me for a song, and it was an amazing find. He was just happy some other kid's going to be riding it. And so I'm working on setting that up right now. Ah, dang it, that was the administrative one, the regular PowerShell. We'll go ahead and do both. Still. So there's HTTP. There's SMB. Awesome. All right, so we'll go ahead and get our beacon set up here. So sleep 0, and then we're going to link to. There we go. We'll link to that right there. Perfect. So we'll give this a second to cook. Let's go look at our. Oh Lord. Hang on one sec, y'all. I'll be right back. The APT is back. Okay, I'm back. By the way, for anybody who does not know, the APT is my Advanced Persistent Toddler. He's very good at jailbreaks and sandbox evasion, and general persistence mechanisms. He's very persistent. Let's see here. Oh, that's right. That's what we were doing. We were doing one more thing. So in the DPAPI section, there was decoding credential files for credentials that are stored for scheduled tasks. That's what it was. Okay. Yes, I think we actually got this where it was listing the credential files properly. Let's go try this. So we need to do this one. Hey, Deb. How are you doing tonight? Have you been over to check on Salty? Because he's been so sick. You're the closest thing to Mother, and he's gonna get. You know it's true. Yeah, poor guy. He last night would have normally been a mentoring stream with my buddy Salty, but he's just hella sick. He's been working himself too much also, and he always tells me I'm working too much. I'm like, bitch, that's the pot calling kettle black. All right, let's see here. I think we actually might need to be system. I don't know. We're gonna try this from the administrator one. Forget what we need here. Snooze. Oh, that's good. Awesome. Made a nice dinner. Aw. So over for Memorial Day, I got they had tomahawks that were like super discounted. And so if you're not familiar, a tomahawk steak is really just a large ribeye steak with an extra bone sticking out of it. And so it was like super discounted. So I went ahead and got some, and I threw them on the smoker this weekend. Oh my lord, that was amazing. And probably a good thing they don't go in discount very often because I would spend way too much money on them. So, but then I knocked out like 3/4 of mine. My wife knocked out about half of hers. But then today for lunch, she messaged me, she's like, hey, I took your leftover steak. I was like, oh, how dare you. It was so good. That was my first time attempting to smoke something that wasn't like a brisket or ribs. And it was so damn good. All right, let's see here. All right, what do we call our function? We called it, I think... We've got a bunch here. Deep Happy schedule tasks. There we go. List credential files. Let's see these. We should have all the permission we need to work on it. Oh, actually, here we go. So we even got... Forgot we'd even got it to go ahead and run the Deep Happy Cred command. It should give us the GUID master key back from this for each of those. It looks like that maybe didn't run though. Let's check this script log. Script manager, no, script console. So it found the one here, but for some reason it looks like the Mimikatz command. Yeah, that should be correct. It looks like for some reason it didn't run. I'm going to try running it manually. If we do Mimikatz. Oh, there it goes. Now it came back. Why didn't it come back from our script, though? He was talking about Smoker the other day. Yeah, I know. It's a little addicting. I got to slow my roll on it because I don't have that many pellets, and it's a pellet smoker. Now let me see why did our output not come back? So we ran Mimikatz here. Oh, because we have a Mimikatz callback. That's right. Okay, so we didn't have it actually returning the output to us. That's why we didn't see it, which is fine. What we want is, let's go check Deep Happy schedule task. Did we get this back in the console? Where's the script console? Hey, there we go. We did get the master key back. Excellent. Okay, so now what we can do is we can just print this out right here. Nice. So what we found out is that the master key is going to be some kind of like UUID right here. And this is a pointer to where it is, and then the file is actually going to be like a 32-bit, 32 character file name that's hex in here. So let's do a little pretty formatting here. Let's do this. Let's do... I don't want to do this, though. I have a smoker. She smokes a pack a day. Eh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Apollo. Let's see. So cool. Actually, we can take these two lines out. We don't need them. We've got what we need from it. What we can do is we can actually just output the file in the master key. So let's do this. Let's do blog. Log1. And we're going to output the how do I want to do this? Let me think. I kind of want to make a table. Here's what I'm thinking. Oops. I think because we can have multiple credential files in here, right? So it's going to be two things. So I was thinking we'll have a little table. Where it's like, here's the file name. Here's the GUID. We'll have like some little dashes. Then we can say like, you know, file 1, GUID 1, and file 2. I think that would be something nice to do. We can actually do this real easy. We just have to insert the header and then log this. I don't know if... Yeah, we'll just give it a shot. Let's do that. Before I put the header in there, we're just going to do it this way. We're going to say... what are we going to do here? We're going to do master key. We'll do master key. And then I think that's what I'm gonna need. So we'll do master key space, and then we'll just put in the GUID. Actually, take that back. We wanted the master key second, so master key, and then this will be the file. Actually, if we look at this one right here, the ls callback. So these are slightly different functions. This one is the ls callback. This one is the Mimicreds callback. On a serious note, a smoker is on my list for fish. Ooh, I hadn't thought about smoking fish in there. Because especially like, so we're Catholic, so during Lent, that would be super handy. I don't think I'd smoke every Friday, but, or probably Thursday. I'd probably have to start it ahead of time, but that would be something that would be a nice change of pace, because eventually, you know, fish does get a tad bit boring sometimes. Smoked fish sandwiches are on another level. I'm not a big on beef or pork, so I usually resort to chicken or fish. See, I'm huge on beef, and pork is like second to that, and then it's probably like chicken and fish. Maybe chicken and fish are tied for third. Yep, I want the animal with the most stomachs, so it can extract the maximum nutrients for me to eat from it. Take a look at the ls callback. What did we get from that? So from the ls callback, okay, we didn't have the master key, we did have the file though. And that actually is kind of to be expected here, because probably what's happening during the code execution is, right, we start here. This is the first command that runs. It runs the ls command to get us a list of the credential files. It then calls the ls callback, which is this one right here. When it runs Mimikatz, it's not going to wait for the output to come back. It's going to immediately run Mimikatz, let it run in the background, then it's going to do the print lines. So this value hasn't come back yet to be set globally. We should have master key up here. I used to eat it, but it gives me more heartburn from red meats. I can understand that. I think it's a common misconception a lot of people have with food is they think, oh, this is always a healthy food, this is always a bad food. That's not necessarily true. Like, for example, Some people can handle dairy just fine. Other people, it's very inflammatory and can cause up to and including rheumatoid arthritis. So you just kind of have to be aware of what you're eating. So my wife and I eat a carnivore style diet. It's pretty much meat, salt, and water. But I will also have dairy too. So I'll have cheese and milk. And I'm looking for those kind of signs because I didn't realize this about milk necessarily. It doesn't really matter between A1 and A2. I do think A2 is better, but that could just be my opinion. It's supposed to be more similar to human milk, that's why. But if you think about it, carnivore is really just an extreme elimination diet. You're taking out everything down to like the most likely to not cause issues, which is, like I said, meat, salt, and water. And then after you do that and your inflammation gets back under control over 3 to 6 months, you can start reintroducing the other foods. You just have to keep an eye on, like, hey, what's going on? You don't want to go throw in too much at one point, right? You want to kind of just reintroduce it so you can observe what's the changes. Am I getting inflammatory effects? Am I getting brain fog? Am I getting joint pain? Am I getting water weight gain? So you want to kind of like look out for those symptoms. I'm also a biohacker. So when I say hack all the things, I mean it. I like cheese, but I've seen a lot of studies that show that cow milk has hormones and stuff, and they're not compatible with humans. So our bodies are thrown off, sometimes negatively affecting by dealing with it. Yeah, I'm very fortunate that here in Texas we have a local producer called Brahms, and they have it's actually an ice cream store, but they have a little grocery section where they also sell their milk. So that's what I go get is Brahms milk, and it doesn't have those hormones in it, and all their cows are A2 cows. So I usually try to stick to A2 milk. So that helps out quite a bit. And occasionally they have the 2 gallons for $6 sale. I'm like, yeah, let me just get 2 of those, bam, bam, because my kids will drink a ton of it. And so, but you're right, like that's another thing to worry about there too. So I think in the future, I hope that the food chain supply kind of cleans up a bit because, man, there's so much junk in it. And I don't mean like literally junk food. I mean just junk in the supply chain, right? What am I going to change this here? I want to send this callback, but I want to know what the operative file is. Let's do something here. I'm going to make another global variable here. We're going to call this the file. So we'll know which file is currently being operated on. We'll make it no. And then when we set this... Oh, dang it. Let's call it current file. Because we already used a file parameter here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the current file to that. So current file is going to equal file. We'll close that. And then what should happen is this gets then set in the global scope, and then we should be able to reference it here. So I'm going to say this is going to be current file. Okay. This is also a really weird-ass esoteric coding language, and it has all sorts of weird quirks to it. So I'm not holding my breath, but I think after we finish up this section with Deep Happy, I think it's going to be time to nuke the lab and start from scratch. And then when we do that, we'll actually go through how do we set up the C2 profile to do the AMS evasion and do some other stuff. And also, we'll go do the debugging with Ghidra to figure out where our payloads are flagging in Defender. And we'll do some basic AV evasion. So it's this weird language called Sleep. And if you really want to know about it, I'll drop the link in here. But essentially, Sleep is... it's what happens if... Sleep is like it's an implementation for Java. It's a Java-based scripting language inspired by Perl. So it's as if, it's almost actually as if like JavaScript and Perl had a baby. Well, really maybe just Java and Perl had a baby, but none of the good genes got passed on. I was actually ranting about it a little bit on Twitter because I was just like, this freaking language is obnoxious. And I fully get why it was used back in 2000, whatever, whenever the guys put this into Cobalt Strike. But at the same time, it's basically it's become a legacy component to Cobalt Strike, and the reason is because it's 2024. This language has been in there for, let's say, 12 years. I think it was probably about 20. When were aggressor scripts introduced? Cobalt Strike aggressor script introduction date. Let's see. It was starting with Cobalt Strike version 3. Let's do Cobalt Strike version history. Cobalt Strike release notes. Let's see. So here's... So starting 2023, we're on 1.4. Here we go. So 2015, so damn near 10 years, right? That's when Cobalt Strike 3 came out. And then we got the aggressor scripts after this. So it's been going for a while. And I get the reason why I use it because it plugs in nicely over into Java. But damn. The language is so wonky. Salty. What's up, brother? How you feeling, man? Yeah, now you know why it's called sleep. Exactly. It's dumpster fire. Especially around the regex. The regex, a couple nights, had me and GoPro on my behalf, by proxy, raging about why shit wasn't working. The regex implementation is highly sus. I'm taking a Java class this semester. It's just the worst. Yeah. I'd rather work a labor job than write Java. Dude, I had to take an intro to computer science class as part of my math degree. And I had already taken, I get this point. By the time I had doing this, because I was working in IT before I actually went to go do my 4-year degree at TCU. And so I was going through doing stuff, and I just realized I think I'm still wearing the same shirt from yesterday. Damn, I need to get more sleep. But I actually did really well on the first exam, and apparently no one else did. And it's because I had already done programming for a while. I had to take like intro to programming at various stages of my life like 4 times. I was very well equipped for something like this. And so it comes back, and apparently the class did so bad on it, this first exam. Maybe it was a scare me exam. I don't know. But the professor said, I'm going to set up one-on-ones with every student for 15 minutes just to go over the exam and talk about, what to work on. Well, I go in for my little 15-minute sit down with the professor. And he's like, you actually did really good. Have you thought about switching to computer science? I'm like, no. I'm going to do my math degree because I can graduate the fastest. Not that I wouldn't have liked having a computer science degree. I actually did take a lot of courses that were cross-listed with computer science, but I was not going to go spend another year at TCU to get a computer science degree. I was like, let me be done. I think I was already married at the time. No, I was engaged. That's what it was. Like, I'm going to get married. I'm going to go get a job and start supporting my wife and family, future family. All right, let's see here. I like what Pirate Software says about Java. It's like, if you tell Java developers, like, Java sucks, they're always just like, yeah. And you tell like any other developer, Rust, Go, JavaScript, assembly, you tell them, your coding language sucks. And they'll be like, you suck, here's why. And they're going to fight back. Java devs don't fight for their language because they know it sucks. All right, let me go try this real quick. Let's go reload this script. Let's see, script manager. We're gonna select this one and reload it. Oh, I think did I really do that? Yep, sure did. That's supposed to be one word. Okay, the ads are getting ready to start, so I'm gonna let them run real quick. We'll do a 3-minute break because I didn't manage the ads properly at the beginning of the stream. And then we'll come through it, we'll test this out, and we'll hit it real quick. I gotta run to the bathroom anyway, so be right back, y'all. Hey, for once I beat the ads back. I went and I looked at my poor wife. She had a very long day of work. She just passed out on the couch. And then, so I was cleaning up some stuff in the kitchen for her because she's going to wake up and feel like, I got to do this. And like, so just did a couple of quick tasks for her so she didn't feel so stressed out when she wakes up. So I'm learning C# and I've had to take a break from it because the overlap is confusing me on a lot of exams. I keep mixing up methods between the two. Understandable, dude. Understandable. I think I'm dying. Salty, you're not authorized to die. You're under orders not to die, sir. Alright, so let's reload our script here, and let's give this another shot. Oh, damn. I was like, what did this... Because we ran the Mimikatz command again instead of running our custom command. Hey, look at that. I found it. Da-da-da. I think if we wanted to... If we wanted to make this a little bit prettier, what we'd have to do is actually format this. So we could do... I kind of want to, actually, just for shits and giggles. I'm going to call this the output table. And what this is going to be is we're going to call this the file. Actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 30 right there. So I'm actually going to make this like 32 for the first one, a space, and then another 32 for the file. Actually, I'm going to do this. Let's see. I'm going to call this the eGUID. Do that. And then we'll take out GIU. Damn it. I promise I can count. Let's see. So we're going to take out GUID, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then key space. 1. All right, there we go. And then here, what we're going to do, we're going to call this one the file. So this is going to be our table right here. And then we're going to... Actually, I need to do it this way. Because what we're going to do is we're going to throw a line return in there. So do \n. And then rather than logging this, what we're going to do is we're going to actually have this print out something. What we could do is actually, I think, is after this for statement, after this for each, we could actually have the logging output where it dumps this output table. So what we want to do now is actually take this and we want to say output table is going to equal output table, and then we're going to concatenate these values, and then we're going to do one more concatenation on here. Take that out. Oops. And then what we're going to do is we gotta tack on a line return here and close that. So what this should do is, as it loops through all of them, it should just kind of spit them out, and then down here we'll have blog. We'll say log to the beacon. This is going to be the output table. All right, let's reload that, and I think that's kind of like maybe one of the last things. Let's see. So then let's run it one more time. So rather than this, we should get like a nice output table here. Well, that didn't work. we got the file and we got the header. Can you do... Actually, hold on. I need to check something in Sleep. Can we do... Where are our assignment operators? Comparisons, loops. let's see. Because if we could do like a plus equals, like it'll allow us to like, you know, use cheesy syntax. I don't know if it supports like the plus equal on there. But anyway, I'm not going to worry about it because what we'll do then is... Actually, I want to try it. It'll throw us it should throw us a syntax error if this isn't going to work. I'm just going to try this real fast. So reload, and then I'm going to run it one more time. See if this works. It did not. Okay. Other than files, this is going to be current file here. And what we can do is actually just change this instead of it being there. We could do the blog $1. And actually, we can bring this line. So we'll string append a new line. And I wonder if this will actually work. Will it let us do like these like split lines like this? We'll see. The syntax is so weird, it might let us. It liked it. Now it's going to give us back what we want. Because remember, this is just supposed to be like a helper or some kind of a mapping that should happen in here. Hey, there we go. Look at that. If we prepend a new line to that, we should be good. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's adjust this actually. Let's just call this the key here. So we're going to prepend a new line so that way it skips down to the next one. And we're going to do key, be the master key, and then this right here is just going to be the file. There we go. Because once we have those, what we can do is... Because if we run the... I don't think there's any other way to do this other than just using straight Mimikatz, which we usually try to avoid, but for this, the lab purposes, I think we'll be okay. So we do Sucre Lasa. I don't know how else to say that. Maybe one day I'll talk to Gentle Kiwi and he can tell me. And if we run dpappy here, see how we've got this value right here, this AA23E6B. If we run dpappy, we can actually dump that key, the matching corresponding key, out of memory. I'm practicing some maths right now, cracking some hashes. Man, do I look like a kitten? Do I look like I'd enjoy a warm sauce of milk right now? Oh, super troopers. Hey, there it is. Okay. Because what I want to do is I wanted to automate this a little bit to where we could get the actual master key back. Because this is actually not a hard blob to parse out, right? If we had it parse... Oh, actually, this could be... Sunglasses cat. This actually could be a massive pain in the ass. Just because the regex for sleep is so jacked up. Because what I think we could do is, if we come here and we find this value, right? So we've got a value we can insert in the regex. So we could take this value, use that as our search feature, and then find everything from here to SHA-1 key. And SHA-1 could kind of be like our end delimiter. And then we could have everything from master key over here. Actually, this is all hex digits. Yeah, these are all hex digits. So if we just go find tell it to do the capture group as a group of hex strings that are like 20, 30 plus long, then I think we could get this out of here. All right. Put put your boots on, everyone, because it's about to get deep in here. All right, let's see. I kind of want to take this and like capture all the output to it. You know what actually would make more sense is we don't, this value, this data is not predicated on. So what we're doing is we're matching this value here. Where is it? We're going to match the key file, the master key for that file. This is just the identifier. It's like a pointer to it, right? And it points to a value down here, but we actually don't need this stuff directly. So we actually could go run Mimikatz, have Mimikatz run, store that data, and then parse it out by the master key value for the current file. And then we could just spit out the file and the key value. And then it's just a very simple operation of just like run Mimikatz again, actually. So in the spirit of making things as complicated as they should be, let's do that. Oh my God, you know what we're gonna have to do? We're gonna have to make another callback. All right, let me take this out. This output table was a horrible idea. It's not gonna happen. Is everything still online? Okay, good. For some reason, YouTube was buffering. All right. Let's see here. So what we'll do is make another subroutine. We're going to call this... And you know what's funny is we call this list cred files, but actually... There's a lot to this. I think we want the master key to be like this, right? The master key actually doesn't need to be here. I think I'm probably just going to stop.
User Othman5450 is online.
Hey, man, thanks for coming online, dude. I think that's probably as good a stopping spot as any. And the reason is because we're going to try and go make this. The whole purpose of this was actually just to list the credential files. We're getting ready to actually like extract the key and be doing it. So I think if we don't have to touch Mimikatz as much, that would be good. We might just leave it as is. Let me run it one more time. I just realized that the scope creep on this one thing we were trying to do has just gone off the rails. Oh, I didn't reload the script. Scope creep is for reals. What happened? There we go. There you go. So we have key and file. Perfect. I actually kind of want to reverse those a little bit. So let's do this. Let's do... actually, doing key and file is not so bad. It actually works out pretty well. So let's take this out. We don't need this debug statement anymore. We're going to kill that. And we don't need this debug statement anymore. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. I didn't just delete an extra line, did I? No, I did. Okay. Caudillo, what's up, dude? Man, it was so quiet in here last night, and now everybody's like, "What's up?" Hope you're having a fantastic hump day. It is hump day. The 4-day weeks sometimes actually feel longer than the 5-day weeks. It's weird. Maybe because I feel like I've got the same amount of work. I just need to cram into 4 days instead of 5. Maybe that's why it feels that way. That's what I suspect. So, all right. So we're hacking on some DPappy again, Caudillo, and we're just automating some of the fun stuff with it in these aggressor scripts. Dude, yesterday was a very freaking long day. So Meg lives in my neck of the woods, but he lives in the neck of the woods that like got seriously hit by the storm. I was on the very ass edge of it, right? All I got was just the stinky ass, the dirty booty smell as the storm wafted by. It was still bad. It just wasn't great. I actually thought one of my solar panels got broken. I was like, no way. So But yeah, it was, and so where he was at, they got really hammered. And there's still something like 200,000 people in Dallas without power. The best viewers. Oh my OMGs. Today was a chill day, and I had time sitting at the hotel on my laptop finishing up some work. Yeah, dude, I'm running through that internal pen test, and it's messed up like a soup sandwich, man. It's so weird. I was thinking about it. I think what I'm seeing is the remnants of them migrating platforms. I think that's why it looks so funky, because it doesn't look like a coherent picture, right? It looks like there's pieces missing, and I think that's why. All right, so I don't know why I put that in there. That's done. All right, so Mimikatz is going to run. It's going to log. Where's that? I'm actually going to change the order of this. I'm going to take this out. And we're just going to make it a space, actually. Ah! Busted my knee. So it makes more sense to have the... Actually, I guess it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if we have the key or the... Yeah, it actually doesn't matter. I'm just going to leave it like that. It's good enough. Because what it's going to do is it's going to give us a list of keys and files, and then we can go run the deephappy Stuckerlasa command. So if we really wanted to go through and try to automate this, this is actually like the far edge of where we should go with this. And then we could come down here, we could actually go make a new one. So we could go do, this was find the credential files. This would be get mask. Let's do get cred file master key and decrypt. There we go. So what we can do here is we'll make another alias. And we're going to call this one, we're going to name it just like we did this one. So it's going to be scheduled task. Instead of list credential files, it's going to be, let's call it decrypt cred files. There we go. We'll call it that. Because that is what we're going to essentially be doing in here. And then let's go ahead and set up our beacon command register. We'll do this, and it's going to be this one right here. So the beacon command register actually is what allows us to call this alias and have like a help for it. So this is going to be, let's see, decrypt, decrypt schedule, task, let me say given, credential file. There we go. So we'll do that. And actually, we're going to need a usage in here also, because this is actually going to take... This one, the list, didn't take any arguments, right? These are well-known paths for it to go hit. Right here. So we didn't have to worry about that. But we are going to need one for this. So let's do the usage. It's going to be that. And then we're going to need the cred file and the key GUID. Let's do that. So we'll do, yeah, there we go. We'll just do file ID. And then the key GUID. There we go. That should be it. So this will tell us like, hey, what we want to adjust with this. So let's make some notes here. So we're going to do $1 is the beacon. $1 is always the beacon. That's the beacon ID, so it knows how to reference this stuff. $dose is going to be the file ID. And then $3 is going to be the key GUID. You know, actually, one good thing to come out of the storms, was there's a lot of pecan trees in Dallas, and so I was actually calling up friends to figure out who had pecan trees that were knocked down. and we were going and collecting wood for a different smoker that we've got. And so it's one that my family uses. It's not actually mine directly. But yeah, so we got a whole bunch of pecan wood to use on the smoker. This week's been super long for me too. Yeah, dude, it's already like getting to be a long week. Especially with like my extra long weekend being spent 2 days of those working on a chicken coop. Today was eating soup with a fork. I hope so, dude. That's funny. Eating soup with a fork. Talk about an exercise in futility or Sisyphus in daily life. Alright. So if we want to decrypt these files, what we're going to have is we're going to have $2 and $3. What we need to do is now we actually got to go dump DPappy. So we're going to do B Mimikatz and there we go. So the beacon will be $1. The command to run is actually just a very generic command in here. So it's going to be Secrelasa. And then we're going to run DPappy. And then actually I need to look at what I think we have to do double null and then the callback when we do Mimikatz. Yeah, double null and then a callback. Because there's other parameters. The reason we're passing those double nulls in here is because there's parameters that, if we don't specify them, they would have been null, and the program has execution trees for how that null gets handled. But then what we're going to need is a callback now. So we're going to do, we'll call it cred files callback. And that's what this is going to be. So we'll do ampersand callback. Boom. And so what the callback was doing, all the output from this command, normally if we don't specify a callback, it just gets dumped out to the log. So instead, we want to actually do some processing on it. So we're going to have the GUID here. Oh, you know what we're going to need to do, actually, is we're going to have to overwrite some stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the, what was our global variable up here? Master key. Current file. Okay, so we're going to go set those. So master key is going to equal $3. And then we're going to need to get current file. That's going to be $2. And the reason we're setting these is because what's going to happen is these are bucketed up here in the global scope. So they exist outside the functions. So they can be used inside the functions and they can be set from inside the functions. So it's basically the only way that I know of in this without doing returns, which you can't from some of these things, to get this data back over here. I suppose we could do another subroutine and have it actually do like a return on this. I don't know if I necessarily want to though. Pecan wood's fantastic for smoking. We had a huge one in our backyard when I was growing up. We would always get some nice limbs come off to use in the smoker built for my dad. Plus candied pecans and pecan pie during the holidays. Dude. We had a coworker that would make these candied pecans that were just like little plant-based crack rocks. It's like, well, I guess they're technically all plant-based. But man, they were good. I never was big on pecan pie, but man, those candied pecans, ooh-wee. All right, so once we set this, we should be able to come up here. All right, we're gonna need some local variables. So let's do local, and we're gonna need a regex. At least. So let's go look at what our regex needs to look like in here. So we're gonna look at. It was this one right here. I'm actually going to grab like a grouping of them here. So that way we can have like some data to actually sift through. There we go. So let's copy this. Let's go take it over to regex 101. Ooh. Okay, so what we're going to search for is we're going to search for the GUID value. So in this case, it is this one right here, or really the master key value, the master key GUID. So what we're going to search for is, nope, that's not what I wanted. So we do a curly brace, this key value, close curly brace. There we go. And then we want to read to, actually, then I think all we need is dot star. We can open a capture group, and then we can capture anything that's a hex digit, which I think is \H. Nope, that's horizontal white space. G. Crap, what is it for hex in regex? I'm trying to remember. Total Wi-Fi is awful, keeps lagging out and buffering like the old Real Player. Damn, that's bringing up some nostalgia berries. Thinking about Real Player. Someone over on X posted a picture of Nero Player, and it's like, name a more iconic piece of software. I'm like, excuse me, Winamp has entered the chat. Oh, Winamp. I'm trying to remember what it is. Regex match hex. Okay, so there's a special one in Sleep for this. That is something that's handy. But we'll come up here. I'm not sure if we need to have these GNM flags set. GUIs back in the day were pretty impressive. Yeah, they were. Modern day GUIs, everything's just a damn web interface. I mean, take Spotify for example. Now, I'll tell you this though. The where is it? I guess I don't have TryHackMe up on here, but the TryHackMe interface where it's got the embedded, attack box on the side. If you've got the pro subscription, that's pretty cool. I do like that, but yeah, that's back when you actually had to do the pixel art and stuff for your thing. All right, so I'm guessing in this case the dot star doesn't actually match. Let me take this out. What if I did? Actually, if I do that. Now, how to do this regex be kind of... Let me try this real quick. So that matches. What if we could do a translate on this? Like, could we take the line returns and translate them into something else? Right? Because there's all these line returns in here. I'm going to turn the G and the M back on. I'm not sure actually how to get this out of here. So actually, you know what? There's something we can do on this. We could take this, and there's a split function in sleep. I think this might work. Let's see. Splits the specified string into the specified pattern. So what I'm thinking here is... Oh, but it's going to be looking at a delimiter, right? So I was thinking is if we had the pattern here, we might be able to find it. What we could do is maybe this. We could have it split by the keyword GUID, right? So then all of these are going to become one section in there. Oh, would that work? Damn, this process is going to get to be a pain in the ass. I think instead what we're going to do... Really, if I could just get this section here, that would be fine. I could say, hell yeah, by the way, here's the master key. All right, I don't think I want to go through this much regex headache. I thought it was going to be simpler until I realized that Mimikat's output is actually kind of dog doo. So, I don't know if I want to go through all of this trouble to suss this out, to get this master key value here. Let's do this instead. Like I said, these aren't supposed to be auto magical I win buttons. What these are supposed to be is... They're supposed to be helpers, like breadcrumb functions. They're supposed to help us get through certain tasks quicker. So in this case, we don't necessarily need it to go automate all this stuff. It's just supposed to kind of give us the ideas of where to go with it. So if we do... We could do blog here. And actually at the end of this for each statement, we can throw another blog. $1. Run the command, and this would be just Mimikat's Circulus Deep Happy. There we go. To find the master key for the corresponding GUID. There we go. All right, cool. So if that's the case, what we can do is actually we can change this. Instead of the key GUID, this would be just the master key. So we're going to expect that the user has gotten the master key ahead of time. So let's do that. So yeah, this is going to be the master key right here. Let's change this to master key. Like I said, because this isn't supposed to be super automagical. If I had more time to kind of dig into it, I might go look through that regex, but holy shit, that's a lot of regex to go through. Let's see. So rather than running DPappy, what we're going to do is we're going to run, or instead of Circulasa, we're going to run the DPappy cred command. And then we're going to do / the n file, which is going to be this right here. Actually, I want to make a change real quick. What we're going to do is we're going to make a new variable here. We're going to call this the Mimikat's command. And this is going to equal sometimes it's easier just to go define a variable like ahead of time. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to do this. This string, I think we saw that this string concat worked across new lines. So I think we're okay there. And then we'll tell it the end value, which is going to be this path, double backslash. And then we're going to do $+ space current file. Actually, I'm just going to do $2. We actually don't need these assignments anymore. So we'll do $2. Yeah, that's right. It's $2, and then we'll do another cat right there. Boom. Actually, I'm going to throw an extra space in here. And then the next section we need is the master key. The master key value, which is going to be, again, so let's do internal string cat. $+ that's going to be $3, and then another $+. So that should be it right there. This should be our Mimikatz command. So rather than having to go do all of this jazz, we just drop that variable in here. There we go. Nice. All right. Let's save that and go try it real fast. Actually, I want to try the whole thing. So let's go reload this. We're going to run the first one, which is like our recon script, let's call it. Oh, oops. Forgot. I left a callback in here that we don't need. Yeah, we don't need that. Yeah. Okay. Actually, we don't need any of this now, too, because we're not using the callback. So, glad I had that error in there, because we've been on a wild goose chase. So we just want the Mimikatz command, because then what it's going to do is it's going to dump back the password that's saved in there. So, let's reload now, and let's go run it. So, we want to run our DPappy schedule task list credential files. So we should get the file and the key. So we did, but it actually ran it in an order I didn't expect. See that? Interesting. To find the master key for the corresponding GUID. Okay. So I'm going to do is I'm actually going to... Let's do that real fast. So we'll go ahead and run... Actually, I'm not going to run it because we already got it over in... We still have it over in regex 101. This is our master key right here. Then if I do help against our other one. So help, DPappy, schedule task, decrypt files. So we're going to give it the file ID and the master key. So let's try this real quick. There's the master key. And we just got to give it the file value. So our file was this right here. See if it works. It's a thinking. We didn't get anything out of this. Like, it just hard stopped processing. Let's look at the script console. Function call B Mimikatz failed. Argument command is missing. What do you mean the argument command is missing? Oh, we're missing a semicolon here. I think that's what we needed there. I think syntactically it thought it looked correct, but there was a processing error. So reload. Let's go try running that again. All right, that took a minute. I think it actually is going to be working now. Nice. So it did dump out the credentials. Very good. There we go. Username, J King, credential blob, QWERTY. Badass. All right, cool. So that actually covers that. Like I said, I got stuck down the path of, we're not trying to fully automate this. Agent 57, hack the planet. Hold on. I have something just for such an occasion.
Hack the planet!
There we go. What's up, man? All right. So I think we've already done a bunch of stuff for Kerberos, for pivoting. Maybe we'll add some ADCS stuff. But honestly, the ADCS stuff is not super difficult for what's going to be in
Bullshit, I
left.
can't hear you. Sound off like you got a pair.
Yes, you can, Salty. You can totally hear me, jackass. I have to go actually see if I can think of some more Full Metal Jacket quotes to put in here, because the Gunny, the Gunny is awesome. So there's a whole bunch of other stuff we could automate with the aggressor scripts. Actually, I'll tell you what, I think... I can, and yes, he is. Damn straight. I think I do want to actually go do some of the stuff for ADCS. I think so. Let's start another section here. So let's do ADCS stuff. The first thing would be find certificate authority. Because these are going to be very simple commands. They're all going to basically have the same kind of scaffolding to them. So we'll call this ADCS find CAS. Take that back. Let's go with this. And then we'll go ahead and scaffold this real quick. Oh, that should be parentheses. So we're going to do ADCS find CAS. And we'll just say find the certificate authority server. And this is actually going to be a real simple one here. What we're going to need to do, though, is we are going to have to go set up a global variable for certify. Certify. Let's go do that. So we'll do $certify path. That's going to equal get file proper. And then we'll drop that in there. And then we just got to double the backslashes. And you get a backslash, and you get a backslash. Everyone gets a backslash, except for you. You get a double quote and a comma. All right. So once we have certify set up, now we can actually go find the certificate authority server. So this is going to actually be real simple, because it's going to just be execute assembly. All right. This fucker has done this to me hundreds of times now, I feel like. Look, so I'm going to select execute assembly, and this little box means it should give me like a scaffold. It has changed it to execute without the assembly and just fucked up my stuff in the past. We're going to see what happens now. I'm not insane. I'm not. I mean, I am, but not in this case. Look at that shit. It keeps dropping the assembly. Fucker. I was banging my head against a wall one time when it did that crap to me. It's going to be the certified pass, and the parameter is just going to be CAS. All right, so real easy. So we have the finding of the certificate authority server. Real difficult. That one was actually pretty easy. All right, so let's do another one. Let's do find vulnerable templates. So for anybody who doesn't know and wasn't watching when we did the ADCS stuff, all of ADCS handles around basically a mismatch of trust, and ultimately that's what all hacks break down to. It's in confusing data with instructions. That's ultimately what happens here. And so the certificate templates have permissions on them, and they have certain rights enabled to them. And then there's enrollment rights. So there's a lot of moving parts with it. But the gist of it is it's trusting user data, or user input, which you should really never do. So let's go find the vulnerable templates here. So we'll do another alias. Call this ADCS find vuln templates. Actually, we'll just call this check templates. Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll do another beacon command register rat meow. All this check templates. It's going to be look for vulnerable templates. ADCS templates. There we go. Very simple. And this is going to be pretty much just this same thing right here. But instead of CAS, we're going to run find/vulnerable. There. So real simple there. And I think that might be just all we're going to do with this, because the rest of it gets pretty deep. There's a lot of Rubius that happens in here. There's a lot of actually specifying like how to pull the certificate. So I think that might be all we're going to do here, is just finding the certificate authorities, finding the vulnerable templates. Let's see. There's also you can use relaying with this, but that's really cool. Actually, you know what? There's something we can do with this. I just remembered. There's one more attack we might be able to do here, and that is we can actually use ADCS for persistence. Also, it's a very multifaceted attack vector. And what we could do is we can actually go through and like request a certificate that's going to live for a long time to either like a user or a machine. So then we would be able to have basically an indefinite backdoor into that system by having that certificate. Oh no, we could do this, but actually, there's a lot of disparate steps that happen with this. That was for user persistence. Yeah, because essentially what we're doing is we're using Mimikatz to dump out the certificates that exist on the system. We're not requesting new certificates. No, actually, this does remind me of something else, though, which is our shadow credentials. That could be something else we could do. Shadow credentials are basically like, how would I describe shadow credentials? It's another way to get backdoor access into an AD object. I think specifically computers. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do anything more with ADCS. What about group policy? Oh, actually, so using the get domain GPO function from PowerView, we can actually go through and find a whole bunch of stuff in here. So, for example, I'm just gonna grab a copy of this to show y'all. So if we do import PowerView, and we do PowerPick, I'm gonna drop a very long command in here. But this is where the scripting comes in handy, because then we can just go have a script command that says, you know, hey, look for group policy objects that we have write permission over. This might take a second because it has to traverse the entire domain when it's searching for these. It's not a very efficient search. But here we go. If we look at this one. So we've got this particular one right here. Where is this? So it's whatever this one right here is, this CN. And there's a way we can actually go convert that GUID or this security identifier right here. Gosh, what is it? I think it's convert from SID. Actually, yes, I think that's what we could do here. So let's go. Yes, this would actually be a really good one to do because the group policy stuff doesn't have as many moving parts, and it pretty much is all done in Power View. So yes, let's go take a look at that. This was really cool because once we actually set this up, when we backdoored this before resetting the lab, every time a machine logged in, we got a beacon back from it. So we had a bunch of beacons that just were just showing up because everywhere this group policy got applied to, we had a startup program that ran from a network share on the domain controller. So yeah, let's do that. Let's do some group policy abuse. Let's make a new group. So we'll call this GPO abuse methods. And then first thing we're going to do is we want to find modifiable. I don't know if that's a real word. Anyway, find modifiable GPOs. So what we're going to do here is we're going to make ourselves another alias. And we're going to call this GPO underscore. Let's say find find GPOs. Let's just do, I'm gonna say find vuln GPOs. Let's call it that. And then we're gonna have we're gonna do our beacon command register. Oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't actually test this real quick. So hold on. Let's go double check this ADCS check template. I just realized we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. So let's reload. Seemed to work. Let's do find CAS. There you go. So there's our certificate authority server. Awesome. And then instead of find CAS, we're going to do check templates. I still check Sysvol for passwords in GPP to this day. Yeah. It's funny to find them in there, although the password you found was actually freaking hilarious. So. I've never had one that easy. I've had one similar, where I found a password saved in a PowerShell script on a network share, but never one like what you found. So this is a little bit annoying because we get this received output breaking this up, but where was actually the command we ran? Let's see. Here we go. So certify find vulnerable. Oh, you know what we should actually also probably do is we're going to need the certify command quite a bit, so we could have another helpful function. It looks like it works just fine, but up here you see how we've got like our invoke decom and a couple of others. Let's see, there's our firewall aliases, execute assembly aliases. Here we go. What we can do is actually just duplicate this guy right here. Well, actually, we're going to want to run this. I'm just going to duplicate this one right here, and this is going to be certify command certify, and this is going to be rather so the Ruby's path, the certify path. Execute assembly of certify. There we go. Because it's exactly the same as this. This is important here. The arbs must be wrapped in double quotes. Because the way it passes this, with this $2, it's got to have all this connected. Yeah, sometimes in the description fields in Active Directory. Yeah. Only you and one other person on our team have I ever seen actually find that. And I was like, I'd never get that lucky on my internals. All right, let's see here. So we got that going. All right, cool. Yeah, because having an extra certify alias in here would be super handy. Let's see. So let's uncomment this, and let's get to it. Let's see if we find group GPOs. This is going to be used. Power pick. Find. Modifiable. I don't think that's how you spell that. GPOs. Is that actually how you spell that? No, it is an I. Okay. Sometimes my spelling is highly questionable. There you go. So find modifiable GPOs. Okay, the ads are coming up, so good time. Go take a pee break. I need to go get some water and check on something. So we'll let those run 3 minutes. Grab snack, grab stretch, grab drink, and then we'll hit this again for a little bit. So be right back, y'all. I'm back early, but we're going to chill out for just a minute, let those ads finish up. Yes, Mech, or it is whiskey time. Got this old tablet to do something with. I don't remember. I had it earmarked for a project. It's just been sitting on my desk. I got actually my old work ThinkPad over here. I was considering setting it up with capture cards and turning that into the actual streaming computer, but ain't nobody got time for that. Let's see here. All right, be patient. Only 10 more seconds. This. So, I really do enjoy offensive security, and I've liked it since I've been in it. You just got to remember it, folks. It is like any other job. There's going to be parts that suck. There's going to be parts that are awesome. Blue teamers do tend to be paid better than red teamers, very much on average. But then also, red team can sometimes provide a lot of psychic income. Because I think when you're on the blue team, one thing that sucks is you have a lot of decision makers over you. Like you want to go try and improve the security, but really when it comes to like the CIA triangle, the only thing they're really worried about is the A. The C and the I are secondary objectives. A is the first objective. All right, so let's look at this. Find vulnerable GPOs. So what we're gonna do is a B PowerShell import to the beacon, and our script is going to be so this is a dirty hack. We're just importing PowerView every time we're going to call it. So then we're going to do B PowerPick. It's going to be $1. We're going to push in our commandlet and then our we don't need the script here. Let's go ahead and actually define that. So do command is going to equal all of this big pizzazz right here. Yeah, because it is a big, long, ugly string. And so if we want to modify it, it's just simpler to have it have its own variable space where we can deal with it. And then we can just tell it to run the easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So let's go try that one. We'll reload. And then we're going to do GPO, find vulnerable GPO. Look at that big honking command it's got to run. And we should see this very similar output up here. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't that one, it was a different one, but yeah. So, cool. It does find our vulnerable GPO. Now, actually, I want to see if I can do something with this output here. This actually puts it into a very nice format, because look at this. It's always the key, space, colon, space, the value right here. So if I want to go get, because there's two things that I need here, right? I need the object DN here and the security identifier. I think, actually, you know what I think we'll do is we will just we'll save this because there's two other commands that we need to do. One is get domain GPO by the identity, right? That's what this is right here, the object DN. So if we run PowerPick, and we use the get domain GPO, check the identity of it, then we can see actually where the vulnerable GPO lives on disk. And we can see the name of it real quick. Actually, I think we're going to do one more thing on this. I think we can do expand. Let me try this. Let's see if we get an error on it. I think we have to do pipe select and pipe select expand. I think that's how we have to do this. We take this out. Let's try running this. Because I want this to actually give us... You're killing me, Smalls. Wow, what the hell is it? PowerShell select expand. Oh god, could you have picked a worse color scheme for your website? Actually, you know, we may not need that. So as I think about this, let me run this command again. Find vulnerable GPOs. We'll let it run and kick that data back over to us. Like I said, if we can compromise a GPO, that's really badass because we can get any system that honors that, we can potentially get code execution on. And then if we resolve it, GPC file system path. That's right. So this is the CN right here. So this is actually the path on disk where that group policy exists. So we actually could have the object if we get to a sufficient point where we have read-write access to this, which if we're that user, we will, because of the way we just did the enumeration. What we could do is actually, we could go edit this manually, but there's also some cool tools that we can use to just go insert this shit into the back end. So there's another one we want to do here. It's PowerPick, and it's, what is it? Convert from SID. And we just give it this security identifier here, which I think this is developers, if I remember right. Or no, it's workstations. I think this is the GPO where it applies to. Oh no, I was correct. It was the users. I think those are the users that have permission to edit it. Yeah, that's what this does. This shows us who has permissions to modify this, in this case. Let me try something here.
User 88 Pippers is online.
Pippers! What's happening? Hope you're having a fantastic night. What is shaking? Welcome, welcome. We are doing a little bit of group policy abuse in Active Directory and automating some scripting stuff. So, yeah, okay, that's where it applies. It applies to the workstation. So, that's right. Because what we were doing is we were actually checking for who has group policy links to this policy. That's who would it apply to. It applies to the workstation, so that's what it is. So actually, when we ran this, I believe it was just workstation 1 and 2 that were calling shells back. I think there might be another one that like Nina Lamb has access to, because Nina is I believe she's the domain admin for the dev domain. And when we get access to her, I think there's one for servers also that we could go through and modify. Mosquito bit me on my back when I was in the shop earlier today. Urgh. Damn skeeters. So we actually might be able to use this a bit. We'd have to do callbacks for it. So I gotta look up the function definition for PowerPick real quick. So PowerPick. So it's a null callback. Okay. So what we'll do here is we would do null, and then give it a callback. So we'll just call a callback. There we go. Find vulnerable GPOs, and then we'll do subroutine. So we'll go ahead and define our new subroutine here, and then actually we're going to have some other subroutines defined in here. And actually, I want to test something. I really want to test something here, because I have been assuming that the execution was top down. So I'm curious, if I drop this in here and I just tell it to do a vlog to the beacon and just send all the output to it, is it going to give me like some kind of execution error? I think because this is Java based, I don't think it will. I don't think, now that I think about it, because this is going to get probably bytecode compiled. And if that's the case, it will have references to all the various function calls. It's got references to the function calls. We don't need to actually have the order of executions in here, but it never hurts to test it. So I'm going to reload, and I'm going to run that find vulnerable GPOs again. Quick. So while this is running, what's going to happen is, what happened? Did I run that over here? Hold on. What did I screw up? That is weird. Right. Let me try running it again. Because it should have just given us the... It should get the get domain GPO. Should be fine in there. Import a PowerShell script which is combined with future calls to the PowerShell. I know there's a way to actually clear those though. Here's the beacon queue. That just runs PowerShell commands. Well, why is it now giving us an issue? Because we actually ran this earlier and it was running just fine. I'm trying to remember how to do this. Cobalt Strike, beacon, here. PowerShell inputs. Cobalt Strike cheat sheet. Let's see if it's on here. Current drives, get user ID. That doesn't help out. You're useless. You failed me. So I wanted to see, like, hey, can we just clear this out? You know, it might just make more sense to let's deuce this out of here. Let's do an import power view directly. Okay, so we task the beacon to bring in power view. All right. And now what if we do, let's go reload our script. Find vulnerable GPOs. See if we get this to run. Damn it. I think the beacon is borked. So you know what we're going to do is we're going to exit this beacon and remove it. And then what we'll do is we'll come back over to workstation 2 and we'll just rerun it. Occasionally, and this is where knowing your tradecraft comes in handy, what I have noticed is that these beacons can become unstable if you're doing a lot on them. So understanding kind of what's going on with them, super important. Because your beacon may become unstable. That's also why having a backup channel to get your beacons back, if you need to go do that, is very important. There we go. I'm actually going to move this down here. So what it did is it just kind of hid that down here. If I hit reload again, it still selected our CNA script, so it still got it. All right, so let's do... We're just going to manually do the import power. And then we're going to do GPO find vulnerable GPOs. This is bullshit. I know there is a get domain GPO. If this works, then there's some kind of weird typo going on in here. Okay. Something we modified that? I mean, shit, the only thing we modified in here. Oh, that's what it is. We're missing a comma. So for some reason, the command has gotten all functified. Okay. And functified is a technical term. I will fight you if you tell me different. Right, so find vulnerable GPOs again. Now we're cooking with propane. All right. Taste the meat, not the heat. All right. All right, cool. So that worked. And most importantly, look at this. So we got all the log output back. We actually could have just... So what we've been doing is always defining the subroutine above the alias, because I was expecting top-down execution, but the more I thought about it, actually doing in-place execution, I think that's what it's called, made more sense because this is all running through Java. It's going to have to be bytecode compiled. Let's see here. Okay, so once we get the GPO back, let's look at the shape of this real quick. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab this, take it over into regex 101. And what we want to do is actually we can just find... because this is the only value that's going to be wrapped in curly braces. So let's go work on taking that out real quick. And then we can make this a capture group. That's going to be real simple. Heck yeah. All right, so that's our first regex here. Oh, what am I doing? I'm clicking to all the wrong windows. Looking for code in all the wrong places. All right, let's see here. So now what we want to do is, let's do a local set of variables here. So we'll call this, I'm going to call this rx underscore let's call this, I guess, GPO ID. Yeah, we'll do that. And then we're also going to want to get the, call this the GPO SID. There you go, and we'll call it dollar GPO ID equals matches, and I think it's the regex and then the data. I think that's it. GPO ID against $2, and then we'll define the oh, you know what, it would be helpful if we actually went through and defined what these variables are. What's that? So there's the one for the GPO ID, and then we're going to have an RX for the GPO SID. And to get the SID, we need to actually get this value here. So what we're going to do is take this out. We're going to do stack1 5 dot star. There we go. Very simple. So all we have to do is tell it match the beginning of the string, take everything that's left, and make that a capture group. There we go. And then we're going to do one thing here. This is actually going to be very similar. The GPO ID, the GPO SID. Actually, this is actually the GPO. It actually is the GPO ID. It's going to be the group SID. Because the security identifier is the... So rather than calling it the GPO SID, I'm going to call it the group SID. And the only reason I'm making that change is because those two damn variables look too close to each other. I know I'm going to screw it up. And so I need to change this. So this is going to be this value right here. Cool. We do a \n, and we're just going to do something real quick. We're going to do, let's see, the GPO ID, and we'll just do a string concat. Absolutely. ID. Oh, I forgot something. This actually matches is going to return an array. We should only have. I just realized something. We could actually have multiple vulnerable GPOs. If we have multiple vulnerable GPOs, then that array is going to be very important. Okay. So we need to make a modification here. Because we need to be able to handle multiple GPUs. Well, what should happen is, if we look at the output data, actually, where's regex? Here we go. This is basically the shape for every vulnerable GPO that we could affect, right? So what's going to happen here is we're going to have basically a tuple. We're going to have the DN, and we're going to have this. Oh, interesting that line wrap. It's going to be ugly if I need to aggregate. I just realized that. I wanted to see if I could actually auto parse this out. You know, one thing we could do, though, is instead of getting... We don't need all this in. We could select the object DN. You see, like here, this is the problem we're running into it. There's this white space. There's a line return here, and then more white space because of the way the object DN comes back. So we could either run the command like 3 times to get 3 different outputs back, which could be very intensive, or we got to find a way to deal with that. And you know what? I don't know how to deal with new lines in Sleep's archaic, esoteric, hallucinogenic regex. I don't know how to deal with it. It's such a pain. Because we don't just need, as I realize this, we don't just need this value here. We will need this later, but really we need the entire DN here. That's highly annoying. I think if we just get... Now we kind of do need a little bit of all these pieces of information. This one is a little less important, right? Because what this is going to tell us, it's going to tell us the GPO name of where it exists on disk. This is a little less important. But if we can get the SID, we can convert from SID, and then we'll know which group it actually has the rights to it. Okay, so we're going to take out the GPO ID. We're not going to be able to use that. I wish there was at least 2 vulnerable GPOs, so that way I could see what the repeated output looked like. It's probably just going to be this same structure repeated. But then I still don't know how to deal with the new lines with this, so... So I'm going to just do this. I'm going to set this to 0. So there's one assumption we're going to make here, and that is that is Actually, I'll tell you what. No, we can do this. Let's do this real quick. We're still going to have this B log happen here. But then what we're going to do is we're going to grab... We're going to do another B power pick. And we're running all this stuff in power pick because there's two options. You can run regular old managed PowerShell on the beacon, but that has AMSI hooks built in. Or we can run unmanaged PowerShell, and that's where our AMSI evasion stuff that we built into the C2 profile kicks in. So that's why we've been doing everything through PowerPick. You actually forget PowerShell is an option sometimes. So the commandlet we're going to run, you take that out, is convert from SID. That's it. Yeah, so we'll do convert from SID, and then we're going to do a string concat of the group SID. Group SID. Bam. That should be good there. I kind of want to see what this does. Let's see what happens. Let's reload our script, and let's run it again. Let's see. It should automatically grab this SID, and then we should see it list developers down there. Oh, interesting. Did we get anything back in our script console? No, not for a while. This was at 245. It's 334 on the box. Interesting. So I wonder why. I wonder why it didn't run this power pick right here. We saved it, we reloaded it. It's not like this is a crazy command to be running. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to worry about this. Take my own advice. We're going to kill the regex. Regex go bye-bye. In fact, find vulnerable GPOs. This callback. Oh, shit. You know what? I'm an idiot. Because it's not find vulnerable GPOs. It's find vulnerable GPOs callback. We were direct, and this is actually where it'd be kind of helpful. It's like, hey, dumbass, this function doesn't exist. You know, a little bit of error feedback would be nice. All right, let's try this again. 15th time is a charm.
Caution. A virus has been detected.
Oh, no!
Hack_smarter virus detected in the network.
All right, deploy the Cookie Monster virus to slow them down. Hack smarter, not harder. What's up, Tyler? How you doing, man? What we got working on tonight? Welcome, welcome, everybody. We were just doing a little bit of group policy hacks and then trying to automate some of it in aggressor scripts.
User L7 is online.
I showed how to set up red team phishing infrastructure with Namecheap, Azure, and EvilShinx 2. Nice! Dude, have you seen this? Check this out. Crap, what is it called? It's, Frameless browser in the browser GitHub. I think that's the name of the repo. Yeah, here we are.
User CyberOdyssey84 is online.
I'm gonna drop this in the chat if I want to take a look at it. I actually used this. This was supposed to be a proof of concept, but I'm in a Discord with this fella, and I told him, I was like, hey man, I actually used that and I modified it to basically play dress up, like I like to call it, and made it look like a campaign that I just did. It went completely undetected. I was so stoked.
User Vinny himself is online.
Yeah. So, If you want to know some more about it, dude, hit me up on Discord. I'll tell you
User
about it.
Stealth Proxy Hack is online.
Thanks for coming online, everybody. Who did we have? We got Cyber Odyssey, Vinny, and Stealth Proxy Hack. Ooh, it's a very strong hack. Did you actually ask permission to stream private lab and course? No, I decided, you know what? Screw that guy. What did he do that was good for this? Of course I asked him. And yes, I don't score. So just so you know, I don't stream the course. I stream the lab and what we're doing. The shit we're doing is far beyond what's covered in the course. If I was just doing the course, we would have been done with this. I can't count the number of times I've re-upped this lab. I think so far, let me see how much lab time we're at. Let's see. We started with 120 hours, right? So we're down, what, 75 hours here? No, 65 hours. We're down 65 hours here, and that was after burning through the initial 150 hours.
User Almar32 is online.
So, yeah, no, what we do is we'll go through the stuff that's in the course, but I'll be honest with you, I keep the course stuff over here so I can reference it when I need to. But for the most part, we're doing a lot of what I call side questing. We're hitting stuff, and we're going through what's in the course, but then we're like, okay, well, what if we didn't have this handy little thing? What's another way we could do this? Or what if we had some kind of silly restriction, like I can't get direct access to the SQL server, maybe I have to go through the web server. How do we do that? So we do a lot of those kind of scenarios with this stuff. Right now, what we're doing is actually kind of refreshing what we had gone over and are building some of it out in aggressor scripts. So this is actually up on GitHub. If anybody wants to take a peek at it, I update it every night after the stream. And there's nothing like super spicy on it. It's just basically stuff that make quality of life functions. Have you already passed the CR2 or just preparing? I actually am preparing. So spoiler alert, once you actually get into security, you don't really need certificates very much. I'm taking it for fun. So, and then I can actually help better prepare people and guide them. I give the RTO lab and course material a very solid 9 out of 10. For the cost and what's all covered in it, it's pretty great. There are a few bugs in it, and Rasta honestly probably spreads himself a little too thin by doing everything himself, but he's hanging in there. And so, I mean, that dude he does everything. He's in the Discord, he's handling the business stuff, troubleshoot tickets, you name it. He's a beast. And so, yes, I actually did talk to him about this beforehand. He said if I wanted to stream the lab itself, that's fine. So that's what I'm doing here. I actually was trying to work out a similar deal with the guys who did the Maldev Academy. So if you guys hadn't seen this, Maldev Academy is another really great one. If you like coding, and especially wanting to learn like how does malware get built, this is such an awesome course. And there's a ton of stuff in it too. In a self-punishment phase of his life, and is really trying to find alternate ways to go through the labs and make it harder on himself while walking us through the process. Exactly. You know, times are tough, inflation's happening, so cat and nine tails are a little too expensive. So instead, I just beat myself with the lab. So, no, I have been, so a little bit of my background for any new folks that came in. I've been a penetration tester for 6 years. I've been in IT for 14 years. And a lot of those years, I was actually working at a college. So I'm very familiar with content creation for courses.
User Zero's Clay Hacks is online.
Oh, by the way, Dalmar and Clay Hacks, thank you for coming online. Welcome. So I'm very familiar with like how those. I've taught at Black Hat for 4 years. I taught a course there. So I know what it's like to go and create the stuff versus consume it. I've seen it from both sides very frequently. So yeah, whenever I'm going to stream something, I always go check with the guys that made it first, and then try to come up with some kind of understanding for it. The Maldev guys said they would like to see the material, but not use the exact code examples from the courses. So I don't know when I'm going to get around to this. I'm probably going to go through the RTO2. In fact, 99% sure I'm going to start going through RTO2 for the second half. I'll probably go back and check in with Rasta again and say, hey man, do you mind if I do the same thing? Just stream the labs, not really explain what we're doing. Because honestly, if you were trying to learn the stuff in the course, it's a bit like trying to become a pro soccer player by just watching from the sidelines. It doesn't quite work. Dude, you can get skilled at coding. just doing a little bit every day goes such a long way. And by the way, for anybody who wants to check out the RTO course, there's a link to it right there. So coding just kind of, especially, so my problem is I don't have a lot of deep knowledge in one coding language, because what typically happens when you're doing offensive security is you work in whatever language somebody who is developing either a tool or a proof of concept exploit decided to build it in, right? And I have seen that from everything from Java to PHP to Perl to Python to Rust to C to C++ to C# to Bash, so you name it. So I have what I usually call the typical offensive security fracture, and it's not like a mental fracture; it's a fracture of knowledge. You hit so many topics. It's like you think about the information you cover. Rather than a blast radius, it's like a arcing lightning bolt. You hit all these little areas, but there's still tons of space in between that you don't hit. What certs did I get to land my first job? Actually, believe it or not, I didn't actually have my OSCP when I got the position, even though I went through it back in 2010. If you believe that, was when it was still pen testing with Backtrack. I don't know how many people who are like, especially if you're on the younger side, even used Backtrack, but I went through it and actually I learned the material really well. I was familiar with doing web assessments, like the basic OWASP top 10 type stuff, and doing some remote code executions with it. But I had been in IT for so long, it was really easy for me to kind of see where IT administrators would screw up on a network. So literally my first day I started was on a web app. So I usually recommend folks get comfortable with web apps for two reasons. One, it's the most numerous type of penetration test that comes up. I'd say web apps by themselves make up 60% of my team's workload. So, unless you want to start really getting into tool development, you don't have to be a great coder. Let's see here. So I'm trying to keep from going down, from having unfortunate scope creep happen. Yeah, exactly. And so I really prefer doing more of the internal, and eventually I want to do the cloud. There's a really great lab I want to go through here. Again, I need to go talk to the creators of this, see how comfortable they are with me streaming this stuff. Because essentially, I'm using the stream time as professional development time. And I've been doing this for about 4 months now. 3.5, we'll call it. And, hey, no problem, man. And so, Pwned Labs is awesome. Yeah, I really want to start digging into this. I got to get in touch with the creators, because I think this might be where we go after RTO2. So RTO2 is probably, given the amount of time RTO1 has taken us, I think RTO2 may actually take us through the end of the year. Because, like I said, I'm side quest heavy, but I'm hoping what's going to happen is I'm going to go into the exam and, like, you're that character in the RPG and you're, like, way over leveled for the main quest line because you did all the side quests. I think Thunderdome will allow streaming because the first bloods are done. Oh, okay. That would be awesome because I really want to mess with this.
Yahosef44 is online.
Yahosef? Thanks for coming online, man. I'm assuming, yeah, Yahosef. That's nice. I like that name. That would be awesome, Tyler, if this is the thing. Ooh, nice. Okay. Because, and so for anybody who wants to see, Thunderdome, it's a multi-cloud cyber range simulating a real company, and it crosses AWS, Azure, and GCP, which is funny because of all the pen tests I've done, and I've done a lot, it averages, I'd say the average pace for penetration testers is an assessment every 2 weeks. And that averages some smaller ones and some bigger ones in there. But I'd say probably the good average value is 2 weeks for how many times you do a penetration test. So let's say you take 4 weeks a year off, right? So you're working 50 weeks a year, you're doing 25 pen tests a year. So across 6 years, I've done probably 125 pen tests. Wait, hold on. Is that right? 150. I can math. I've probably done about 150 penetration tests. And I'd say probably that was like 70, 75% of them were web app, because we had a lot of clients that would bring us a large number of applications in their portfolio, and my team would just churn and burn through them testing them. I actually really hated it, but you know, it did pay. So I really want to mess with this. Oh, so what I was saying though is across all those penetration tests, GCP, I've seen it twice. And the test I'm on now is number 2. So you just don't see GCP used a whole lot. I don't know. I think the only reason Google doesn't end of life GCP is because I think if they did, they know they would lose every single client possible. Yeah, I know nothing about GCP. I know the most about AWS, and even then it's not very much. And I know a teeny tiny bit about Azure. Unfortunately, they just changed how you can do the dev tenants, and that was a bummer because I actually used the dev tenants to test my phishing campaigns. So I was bummed to see that they took that part out. Just run Scout Suite. I'm not familiar with Scout Suite. Let me see. Oh, multi-cloud security auditing tool. Oh, okay. Open source multi-cloud security auditing tool enables security posture assessments of cloud environments. Okay. Interesting. Oh, it's by NCC Group. Okay. Man, I hope they're doing okay because NCC Group had a bunch of layoffs. I want to say very early in the year, maybe end of last year. Prowler for AWS. And then Scout Suite for, okay. Scout Suite's pretty decent, at least a high-level overview. All right. Yeah, I've got one guy on my team that has gone through... Geez, what was the name of that course? I'm trying to remember. It was another cloud pen testing course, and he said it was really good. It was strictly focused on, I think, AWS. And Maxset coming in with the gifted subs. Thanks, dude. Second there, I thought you were cussing. C-A-R-P-T. I don't think that was it. Let me see. C-A-R-P-T. Oh, from Alter Security? No, that wasn't it. It was, oh crap, what was it? Is it Pentest Cloud? Is that it? Pentest Cloud, AWS. There's Pentesting Academy, Rhino Security, Hactrix. Wait, hold on. Hactrix has their own. Oh, is this cloud stuff from Hactrix? Okay. For a second there, I thought Hactrix had their own cloud environment. It's like, what? Oh, what? Maybe it was Cloud Breach. Yes. Yes, thank you, boss. That is it. And this was actually a pretty reasonably priced course, if I remember right. Let's see. I think he did the AWS course, Breaching AWS. And then, how much was it? I want to say it was like $600. Ah, here we go. Yeah. I think he did the 30-day lab access. It was $600 here. So... pretty reasonably priced, too. I'll drop this over in the chat, too, for anybody who wants to look at it. Rhino Security Labs is a great pen testing firm. That's where you... Oh, I didn't know that's where you work. That's awesome. Oh, I didn't know y'all made CloudGoat. Okay, that's badass. CloudGoat. Nice. I might have to mess with this. Because I haven't had a chance to. So I fully admit, like a lot of security people, I have shiny thing syndrome. And I realized why that is. It's because if you're curious enough to be working in offensive security, it's because you find interest and appreciation in many topics. So like I could be talking to somebody at, let's say, DEF CON, and they're telling me about what they do, and I know diddly squat about it. But the way they're describing it, and I have basic understanding of technology, I was like, oh my God, that is so interesting. I should learn everything I can about that. And then I have to remind myself, no, you will not get very far in that because then you're going to get distracted by something else. Stay the course. What is Paku? I haven't seen that. I've seen Cloud Goat before. Oh. Post anesthesia care unit. I don't think that's what you're referring to, though. Rhino Labs. There we go. Ooh, open source AWS exploitation kit. Nice. Get in. Let's go look at this GitHub. Why read the article when you can read the source? I like that. I really like that all the different security tools are now shipping with some kind of Docker image, because I like running Docker on my Mac, so I can actually use my machine as like a testing machine. And I've got all my scripts customized to where it keeps all my data like centralized. It's so nice. Basically, Metasploit for AWS. Nice. Oh, this is pretty sweet. It's like AWS exploit. Bunch of modules including auto exploits for privilege escalation and such. Oh, sweet. So you could use CloudGoat and then go learn how to use Paku with CloudGoat. That'd be sweet. Because I thought about I think I'm going to take a little bit of an intermission after the RTO course. I'm probably going to take that one around the week of 4th of July. That's when I'm going to take the exam. And then before we shift over into RTO2, I was thinking about just doing some fun streams, because like I've had people say like, hey man, we want to see you do Hack the Box. I'm like, but dude, everybody does Hack the Box and they probably do it better than me. So, going and like looking at some of this stuff, there's on my little server down here, I wanted to do basically go over like, hey, here's how you can homebrew some lab stuff with like a Proxbox and Goat. But maybe we could include Goat into that. Cloud Goat. That'd be sweet. Damn, is it almost 11 already? Shit. The time goes by so fast when you're having fun. I think this command is pretty much done here. Actually, hold on. I gotta run this one more time because we need this power pick command to run, and then it will be done. Let me test and see if this is done real quick before I say no moss coding tonight. Yeah, I try not to, man. I want to do the fun stuff. Now, granted, actually, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do a mentoring stream with my boy, Salty. He is my Marine Corps brother from another mother. I was not in the Marine Corps. I'm just a fangirl. But he wanted to start learning about cybersecurity. I was like, dude, that's great because, you know, there's going to be lots of new folks that want to come in and they want to see, you know, someone learning this stuff too and getting ideas on it. So I do those on Tuesdays and Thursday with him. He was just sick last night, so we didn't get to do it. But tomorrow night, actually, he may be sick tomorrow night. He was pretty bad off when I talked to him. So hopefully he's good tomorrow night. We'll hop in there. So we actually just transitioned him from doing, we were playing a game called Greyhack, which is like a hacking MMO simulator. It's a lot of fun. If you want to check it out, it's up on Steam. I think I spelled that right. Yeah, there it is. Very cool game. Especially the multiplayer online. That stuff gets wild. But now we just recently transitioned him off of the game into TryHackMe. So we're actually going through some of the TryHackMe stuff. So there's stuff in there for the beginners, like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that really want to look at some of this stuff. But actually, I tell new folks that come in, dude, just come in and chill and just start observing. Because yeah, will a lot of it go over your head? Yes. But at the same time, you're going to start getting exposure and your brain's going to start capturing just a little bit more each time. So there's a lot of times that I learned a lot of stuff, like the framework of it, by just watching the stuff. Even though I didn't get it, I went through it and I was trying to understand it. I would tell folks that were in management that would sign up for my Black Hat course and didn't really understand what was going to be going on with it. I'd say, hey, your job is not to necessarily understand how to sling these commands and execute these reconnaissance steps and these exploits that we're doing. Your job is going to be to understand the strategies and to do it. Your people are going to be the ones understanding the tactics of it. So, let's see. For some reason, our find vulnerable GPO just returned diddly. Did we not reload the script? Let's see. So we Okay, yeah, so here's our GPO callback. I wonder if I actually do need to place this up here. I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to move those lines up. We were actually testing this coding engine inside Aggressor to see if it needs top-down execution. So I put a function that gets called after the function that's calling it to see what would happen. And it looks like my output is just like not happening. The hell is this? Unclosed content closure at line index 75. Oh, did I forget to... I either forgot a semicolon somewhere or I missed a string. Oh, you know what I bet is happening? Let's do something. I bet this group SID is jacking everything up. I bet that's what's happening. So what this should be doing is this should be doing a regex to go grab the security identifier. But you know what I think we're going to do is actually just take this out. Regex has been nothing but a royal pain in the ass. So yep, callback is just done. We're not going to worry about it. These are supposed to be kind of like breadcrumb functions anyway, just to kind of get us, help automate some of the syntax and stuff like that. And so I think we're just going to deuce that out. Yep, we're just going to make it like that. And actually, what we could do, though, is we could kind of duplicate this right here. And instead of find vulnerable GPOs, we could do... There's two commands we need to do. One is get the... what is it? It's to figure out where the GPO actually lives. So let's do this. Let's call it, instead of find vulnerable GPOs, we'll do, let's call it locate GPO. It's like if we want to find it on disk. And then this command is going to change ever so slightly. So we'll call this locate GPOs. And then we're actually going to need one more line down here because this is going to take an argument. So we'll do the usage. What did I just do? I accidentally pasted something in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the GPO DN. That's what we want, the distinguished name. So that's going to be $2 right here. $1 is always, these are the positional arguments. $1 is always the beacon ID, so we know how to pass data back to the beacon. So let's go deuce this out. Right, y'all. The deuce. And the command we're going to run here is, it's going to be in PowerPick. It's going to be our get domain GPO identity. And then we're going to have it come through. Actually, we're going to have to double quote this, that I think about it. And we'll just escape that quote there. So we're going to use get domain GPO. We're going to pass it the identity, which is going to be this. So the string concatenation syntax is really weird. It's going to be $2 and then $+. So you have to have these trailing plus spaces here at the end. And this is how you do in-place variable substitution. So once we get that, that should cover the entire identifier. And then what we can do is we can actually send that to pipe. We want to select the display name and the GPC file syspath. Let me see if I can snooze the ads real fast here. Snooze. There we go. So GPC file syspath. Yes, that should be good right there. So once we get that command going, we can just do this. So like I said, these are just helper commands. Rather than trying to remember this big, long-ass, ugly syntax, I can have a helper in here that says, oh yeah, just pass it the GPO DN and you're good. So let's reload that. Now I want to try this. Let's do GPO, locate GPO, and then we need to get the DN here, which is going to be this. We actually were trying to cut this out with regex, but the way the output line wraps, it's such a pain in the ass. If it had been all in one continuous line, it would have been an issue. So like I said, we're not trying to make it auto magical. We're just trying to make it give us handholds to speed along our progress. All right, let me try that. That's all. There's no spaces in there, so it should just be one long continuous string. Oh, I think I misspelled display name. Jeez. I is smart. I have the smoothest of brains. Yeah. Yep, display name. There we go. All right. So that should be good. And then we also want to do one more. We're going to duplicate this again. So I don't know if I actually need these. I don't think so because this seems to be working. I'm going to throw this anyway. Now we're going to do GPO convert from SID. And we'll do this right here. And this is going to be this SID. In fact, actually, I don't want to call this GPO convert from SID because really it's not having to do necessarily with the GPO. Really, it's because I can take that line out. We're just using PowerView to do it, and there's it's not directly related to this, but we look at the output that comes back. Basically, what we get is this right here. It tells us what's the access control type, the DN. This is what we were just converting to show us that it's the vulnerable one. So like if I reload this and I run it again, we actually will get the display name back here. There we go. So you see, this is vulnerable GPO. So when we come find this, if we wanted to go edit this on disk, we could use this path. But really what we're seeing is this is where it lives. This is the security identifier of machines that have access to it. See, access allowed. So this is what we're actually going to convert here in just a second. So we can see what kind of group we need to breach to be able to get to that system. Let's see. So we do... Let's change our command here. This is going to be... convert from SID, and we just have to give it $2 right there. That's pretty much it. So space dollar plus $2 plus space. There we go. That's it. So this isn't directly related to the GPO. This is really more of a PowerView function. But I'm going to have this as convert from SID because this is where it's going to fit into the attack flow. We really only need to do the convert from SID for this section here. So if I go reload this, GPO, convert from SID, drop the SID in here. It should come back as dev developers. Yeah, there we go. Boom. So we know if we're a member of the developers group, we've got access to that group policy object. Hey, Link. So we're doing a little bit of coding with what's called aggressor scripts in Cobalt Strike. So we've got a bunch of attack, let's call them patterns that we've learned about. So we're just trying to see if we can make some helpers to help improve some of this stuff. Because some of these commands we got to run, man. Like, for example, this one right here. This is a big, long, ugly PowerShell command. Look at that sucker. Man, it's kind of nasty. So instead what we can do is have it come through and basically have a little bit of helpers in here. So for example, rather than trying to type like that giant PowerShell command, we've got a whole bunch of GPO commands. So for example, finding vulnerable GPOs. You can do that. You saw electric kettle with Wi-Fi? That sounds like a disaster. You know, if at least if it was a coffee pot, it could do, what is it? Is it RFC 2345? I think it's that 2345. Is that it? Nope, that's not it. It's 2324. I was so close. So the guys over at IETF actually released an RFC for Hypertext Coffee Pot Control Protocol, RFC 2324. So I will meme that with my guys at work, and they'll be like, I don't get why this device is online. I'm like, oh, that's there to support RFC 2324. And then of course, then they'll go look it up and like, ah ha ha ha, ha, you're so funny. Like, I am damn funny. Thank you.
User Franklin Mom is online.
Hey Franklin, thanks for coming online. Welcome, welcome. I think we might be actually at a wrapping up point right here because we're at a good stopping spot. I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is, let me do this real quick. I'm going to go update the GitHub with the new script stuff. There's a few more things we want to do actually with this, and that's where we're going to leave it. I'm actually going to put a note right here. I think our lab may be broken. Well, actually, tomorrow night we're doing Try Hack Me with Salty. And then Friday night, I take off from streaming. That's time to go spend with the family. And so we're going to do that. Say, I'm new here and still relatively new to this field. I hope you don't want to derail your work here. But I would love to ask you pros, what's your opinion on which country has the best cybersecurity hackers defensive teams? Which one has the best? I mean, if you want to take like Stuxnet as an example, you're talking like your S tiers are obviously like the US and Israeli. I've heard really interesting stuff about the guys over at Unit 8200. So I would say that, but also it seems like for a lot of I would say it's probably more realistic. Yeah, US for good or bad. I'd say it's probably more realistic to think of like each of those organizations has kind of their strengths to it, right? Because you got to think, there was the old example of, I say old example. Crap, what was that? I'm trying to remember the name of the operation. But what happened was No Such Agency had actually gone through and done a logistics supply chain attack to purposely weaken the cryptography of network devices that were being deployed overseas. So by doing that, they were able to basically intercept traffic, do an offline crack way more efficiently, and capture it. Unit 8200 were the reason it got noticed. Are you talking about for Stuxnet? That was what I was thinking about. The script, the helper script, has been updated up on GitHub. So there's a copy of it. If anybody wants to go mess with it, especially if you're going through the RTO course and you want to kind of tinker with it, that's a good way to do it. They became way too aggressive with it. Yeah. Yeah, they kind of did, didn't they? And so, but you got to think, that was the kind of capabilities that we knew about. I wonder how long they were sitting on Eternal Blue before it came out. Oh, sorry, Franklin. Yeah, you did ask that. We've actually gone through the entire course. I did about half of it without Defender turned on. And then I've gone through and I went and turned Defender on and started from scratch and ran through it. So if you're wondering why it looks like there's a lot of stuff missing out of that aggressor script, it's because I'm doing what I would consider to be more of the OPSEC safe stuff. The stuff I was actually doing with Defender turned on while we were working through the lab. So, and also there's a few things in there like, hey, there's some stuff in there that like just doesn't even kind of come up in the lab. There's a couple of things, just like little helper scripts. As I'm studying for my EJPT through INE, I plan on getting the ECCPT through INE as well. Then I'll get my OSCP. Yeah, the OSCP, I'll be honest with you, offensive security is expensive. And at least they're now innovating, because I'll be completely honest with you, when I took the OSCP course, when it was pen testing with Backtrack, in 2010 versus when I retook it after I got my first pen testing position in 2018, the course hadn't changed a whole lot. So finally, I think it was, 2020, they finally started doing the lab refresh. Maybe 2021? Ah, damn, we got ads coming up soon. Let's see. Is there anything else over here that I want to do? There is one more thing in here. I want to go make another helper script for Sharp GPO abuse. Yeah, I kind of do and I kind of don't. I don't know. I'm going to think about that one. I'll tell you what, I want to run. So typically what I do for new folks, I do a 3-minute ad break. So that way we just have one basically near the top of the hour. So I know it's like 13 minutes after, but whatever. Then we don't have to deal with the ads for like a complete hour. So we're going to do that real quick. I need to go get some more water anyway. My giant dad mug is like run out. So we'll do that. I tell you, go get a snack, go get a drink, go get a stretch, and we'll hit this again. So 3 minutes, everyone. We'll be right back. I'm back. It's Whiskey O'Clock. Do you recommend the OACP or GPen? This might be a controversial take. But if your company is paying for GPen, go take GPen. If your company's paying for OSCP or GPen, probably take the OSCP because it is better recognized. It is the base entry level pen testing certification. For better or for worse, for as much stuff is taught in different courses. I'm not sure. It wouldn't surprise me if it is. So the reason I say go take the GPen if the company's paying for it is because, you know, taking anything from them is damn expensive. So if your company's going to pay for whatever you want, then take the OSCP. If your company's only willing to pay for GPen, take GPen. Maybe foot the bill for OSCP later. For getting your foot in the door, yes. Doing web apps to get a start on it. So like the, let's go look at OffSec. So if we look at their courses, let's see, courses and certifications. So like if you wanted to actually start with like Web 200 here, this might be a good place to start. They actually have learning paths in here. Let's see where they are. Where do they have those? Learning solutions, skill development. Let's see, web application tester. Because if you really want to get into offensive security, that's the one. Here we go, learning path. So this actually starts with Web 100 in here. So yeah, you could start with like the web, even just like if you haven't taken any pen testing course before, you could go with like the Web 100, 200, 300, which is the web expert one. That one is really pretty good, especially like it's going to get you very good at doing source code assisted pen tests. It's a glorified pen test plus. All right, I stand corrected. Actually, no, I stick by that original statement. If your company, some companies won't pay for OffSec, but they will pay for like something like GPen. So if they'll pay for GPen, go take it. If they're willing to pay for GPen or OSCP, go to the OSCP. Yeah. Actually, so I know I shit on SANS training a lot, but it's mostly due to the price. And so that's why I usually recommend folks don't take SANS training unless your company's paying for it. Or unless you can have a way to get in to help assist and proctor the courses. Because then you can get it at a discount. Does the background music automatically lower when you speak? Yes, it does. I have it. I have ducking turned on, so you can listen to it right now. And as I start talking, it comes down. I have to do ransomware on the side to afford SANS courses? It'd be funny if it wasn't true. I only laugh so I don't cry. Yeah, no kidding. And if you want to do ransomware, I'm not saying you can take this, but I mean, they're going to teach you a lot of cool stuff. I really actually want to go through this course. Like I said, it might be that we'll start doing this after RTO2. So we're not looking till like next year, if you think about like on a schedule, because we spent, so far we spent damn near 3.5 to 4 months going through RTO. Like I said, we do a lot of side quests, going through and making things artificially difficult. And so I have no idea how long RTO2 is going to take. RTO2 could take 6 months. RTO2 could take a year. But we're going to go through it. We're going to work through it, hopefully in the same fashion. I do need to go double check with Rostamouse, make sure he's okay with me showing that lab. If not, that's going to be a bit of a bummer, because it's probably going to change my professional development schedule. Because I'll be quite frank with you, I use a lot of the stream time for my own personal professional development. I actually bill this to my company. It's like, hey, yeah, here's how many hours of professional development I've done. Stance trainings aren't the best. The cram content into a few days and just blow through it. No real emphasis on checking if the student acquired or understood the content. As someone who considers themselves a mentor and a teacher, I cannot get behind that methodology. All right, Mick. Yeah, man. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. I know it's starting to get late, but I was going to stick around for a bit longer. So, actually, if Mini Wheat ever pops into chat again, I know he's been super busy. He actually took one of their advanced offensive security courses, and I forget which one it is, but he really liked it. And he went in like guns blazing, nailed it, and got one of the challenge coins for completing the like the end of course CTF. Like he got every flag in it, I think. So he got this really badass coin. Oh, let me check something. I still have a picture of it. Let me see. Let me see if I have the picture of it that he sent me. Oh yeah, here it is. Check that out. Look at that coin. That is legit. I'm not saying I was jealous when I saw this, but I was a little jealous. Oh, so he did he did red team operations and advanced emulation. That's what he did. Yeah, so this was the challenge coin he got for, I think, for 100%ing the like the end of course capture the flag lab that they had set up. So I know that coin is legit as fuck. Love it. Let's see, is there anything else? Actually, yeah, there was one thing I wanted to do here in this aggressor script. Let's scroll up. I want to make a sharp GPO abuse helper here. So we'll do, it's going to be sharp GPO abuse tab. Get file proper. We'll drop that in. And you get a backslash, and you get a backslash, and you get a backslash. Everybody gets a backslash, except for you. You get a double quote and a comma. There we go. And then what we're gonna do is we'll just go make a quick wrapper for this, probably in under GPO. Come down to the bottom of our script. Damn, we're at 572 lines of aggressor script. That's a lot. That's a lot of aggression. We'll do alias GPO. No, not convert from SID. Sharp GPO abuse. And then we'll do beacon command register. So what's happening here is the alias actually kind of defines the function of what's going to run. And then the command register actually registers it so that we can type it here. So like, for example, this GPO find vulnerable GPOs in here. This got populated from that beacon command register. And this is also where the help comes in. That's where the help should come in. Crap. That's so weird. I wonder why it didn't. It should actually show this. Use PowerPick to find modifiable GPOs, but it's fine. So what we'll do is we're going to do this, and this is actually just going to be a quick wrapper. So rather than having to type in that big, long command every time we want to do that, what we can do is this. So this is going to be, let's see, calls sharp GPO abuse. Yes. And then we're going to have a usage in here. So usage is going to be the command. There we go. There we go. So this is important because we do have to, the way this is structured, we're going to have to, because this is going to be calling this right here, we have to actually, it uses positional it uses these positional, variables. So like $1, $2, $3. And so what we need to do is go adjust this. Let's do $1. Excuse me. Okay. So we're gonna do $1, and then we're gonna give it sharp. There we go. And the parameters is gonna be just $2. Hang on, one sec, y'all. All right, there we go. So all this is going to do is just be a quick wrapper around it. So we won't know, like, we'll have to actually know how to use sharp GPO abuse, but rather than having to type execute assembly, /tools /sharp GPO abuse, /sharp GPO abuse, /bin, /release, /sharp GPO abuse.exe every freaking time we want to run it, we can just run this command and put some double quotes around all the arguments and we'll be good. That's what this is going to do. So all these are meant to do, a lot of these, is just save us a shit ton of typing. Let's see. Let's see, there's also some things we could do about creating a new GPO. I don't know if I necessarily want to deal with it because that's a lot of customization. So I don't know if I want to worry about trying to make a command to help automate some of that. Is there anything else in here? Actually, yeah, so we still have a bunch of stuff on like SQL servers, config manager that we might go through. But now I got to go update the damn GitHub again because I just edited the file. So that GitHub link that I posted earlier, let me scroll up and I'll pin it real fast. For anybody who wants to check it out, that's updated basically nightly as we do these. So if anybody just wants to take a look at what's going on with it, or if you're taking the RTO and you want to use the aggressor script, you totally can. So let's see here. Some of the MySQL stuff could be pretty handy, actually, because one thing we did here in the lab is, you notice how we've got two SQL servers. There's actually two domains. There's a developer domain that's a child of the parent domain, which is Cyberbotic. So see, we have DC2 dev cyberbotic.io. So what we'll see here is like, then there's also DC1 in the parent domain, which is cyberbotic.io. So there's still a bunch of stuff we can run through to make little helpers in the aggressor script. So for example, things about MySQL config man, some of the domain stuff. Actually, I think we already might have did that. The silver and golden and diamond tickets and forging certificates. I have to double check. We did this a little bit out of order. I actually started with the end and then I circled back around and went back to the beginning. Some of those aren't necessarily like what we need to do. But also looking at some of the stuff in the force and the domain trust, that would be super handy as well. Actually, probably what we're going to do next time, because the lab is basically expiring. Because let me show you all this. If I come over to Cobalt Strike, I close my interface to it and I reopen it, we're going to get a license warning. And so ends in 1 day on May 31st. Well, it's May 30th right now on the box. So tomorrow night, we're doing mentoring with Salty. Friday night, it's my off night. So Saturday, when we come back to this, we're going to start with a fresh lab because I'm just going to go ahead and upgrade the range. And then what we'll do is we'll actually start by doing the C2 profile. We'll start editing it to be more stealthy, as well as, what's the term? Have like a bunch of the AMSI evasion stuff in it. And then also we'll go through and we'll regenerate all of our payloads and we'll make them bypass the static detections inside of Defender. So, fun stuff. All right, I think that's probably what we're going to call it for tonight. So if anyone has a suggestion on who we should go raid out to, go ahead and call them out now. Let's see who's over. Is anybody else on InfoSec streams? We're usually the last ones online at this time. Let's see, because it's 11:32 p.m. here, so it's a little early over in the UK right now. So anybody who's streaming in the UK probably won't be online for quite a while. So it's this weird kind of lull time where there's just, I don't know, maybe somebody over in some of the other European countries might come online here. But we need to get them. We need to expand this list. This list, it needs to grow. Because I think it's kind of sad that we're usually the only ones online at this time. Yeah, I know, right? By the way, if anybody wants to know, so GoPro actually is the one who manages the repo that has the list of all the streamers on it. So, yeah, I'm surprised we don't have more international streamers as well. It kind of surprises me. All right, let's go check. Let's see who else is on in science and tech. Now, the astrobiology lady, she's usually always on. I was like, she knows her audience. She should be streaming real late. Let's see. Radar, aircraft, earthquakes, retro shows. This dude's doing AI stuff. Struck disassembly. Not a ton going on. This guy's got a GTA self-driving car project. That's kind of interesting. But actually, let's go check in software and game dev. See if anybody's doing anything good. Let's see. Doing the leak code grind. I like this stream right here, Team Batch. They are doing MMO dev, so occasionally I'll go raid over to them. Show them a little bit of love. Let's see. A C++ Fallout modding tool. Time enjoyed? Let's go look at it. I like asking folks for raid suggestions because it helps me meet new and interesting streams. The ads. How rude. So what's she working on? Code Jam? Yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and give her, because it looks like she's doing some pretty cool technical stuff. Yeah, let's go hit her up. Okay. Let me close that, and then we'll go find her. All right, everyone, y'all have a fantastic night. It's Hump Day. We're halfway to Friday. Tomorrow is Synthetic Friday. Thursday, we're gonna do mentoring on Try Hack Me with Salty. Health permitting, because he's still pretty rough. He got pretty sick. So if not, then we'll come back in. We'll start with a fresh lab. The planet! God, I need to get more sound alerts in there. Like, I got to get the Hey Listen and a couple of the other ones. But honestly, I got to get some sleep, man. Yeah. Thanks, Pippers. Let me go ahead and set the raid up. And we'll go ahead and raid over to our good friend Time Enjoyed. Yep, there it goes. All right, y'all. Everybody, y'all have a fantastic night. Thanks for hanging out. Like I said, tomorrow we might do mentoring. We might do, EDR evasion. We'll figure it out. But anyway, y'all take care. I love you. Have a great night. Peace.